Clarissa Campos, the New South Wales Membership Manager at Ostmine. I'll be your host today. I'd like to welcome everyone, the speakers, our experts that will be presenting today as well, and everyone who is attending. Thanks for making the time. Before we get started, on behalf of Ostmine members and our presenting companies, I'd like to acknowledge traditional hosts and custodians of the land, which I am meeting today, which is the Abakal people. And we recognize the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island people also attending this webinar. So welcome everyone. As the mining sector is undergoing a significant transformation in terms of automation, digital solutions, AI, and sustainability, we decided to do this webinar series, which is composed by 6 sessions, and each one of the sessions is delving into one of those critical points. And in the session today, we'll be exploring how advanced digital technologies is shaping the way that the mines are designed, optimized, and developed even before the operations begin. So the format of this webinar is basically 4 presentations of the companies that we have joining us today, which is Datamine, Sentient, Pointerra, and Advanced Space Technologies, followed by a Q&A session at the end of the session. The Q&A will be held around 10 to 15 minutes, depending on how timing goes. If you've got any questions, during the session, please send them through the chat box. And if your question is directed to any of the speakers, please mention their name so that we know which person should be addressing them. This webinar is also being recorded and it will be posted in the Ostmine YouTube channel. So anyone for on-demand view will be able to access that later on. So let's get started. And I would like to welcome our presenters today. Thank you so much for joining. Datamine, Bruno, Abilleira, Consulting Manager. Sentient team, we will be having an interactive session with the team presenting. So we'll be quite interactive today. So welcome, Sean, Craig, Leonie, and Chris. We also have David Lowe, Chief Revenue Officer at Pointerra, and Zoe England, Senior Product Specialist at Advanced Spatial Technologies. So welcome and thank you for joining. And I would like to start with Datamine. So Bruno Abilleira, the Consulting Manager. So Bruno will be presenting today on Studio NPVS, which is their newest and latest advanced strategic open pit planning solution. In this session, Bruno will be demonstrating how the studio empowers mining companies to move from resource model to mine plan 5 times faster than traditional solutions in the market. Discover how this intuitive interface, superior scheduling tools, and true optimization work in real life. So over to you, Bruno.
Wow, thank you very much, Clarissa. Appreciate it. Let me just move on with the slide deck in here. Hopefully the lag will help me. Great. Look, yes, I'm going to be talking about Studio NPVS Plus. Is our newest addition to our solution footprint, moving from resource model all the way to life of mine plan in a matter of days instead of weeks. I'm leaving here a little bit of a QR code on your side. You can scan at any given time just to take us to our landing page if you need more information about the product. Look, just a little brief talk about what's and who is Datamine. We've been on the business for over 40 years. We are a mining software house. We've been providing technology for the geology and planning people for many years. And most recently, we have been expanding quite rapidly into labs, exploration, production, and sustainability as well. We have our Optimised team as advisor consultants to provide advisory for people on the industry as well. So we have like a one-stop house for all sorts of solutions that you may need for the whole mining life cycle. But today we're going to talk about planning in line with the expectation of the webinar. I'm talking about Studio NPVS Plus, talk a little bit about this product and its journey over the years. Just see if I can move the slide. Great. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the product history. It's not a new product, but there's new technology coming in. What is our new engine for scheduling, which is probably the meats and potatoes of this presentation, and some key applications of the technology. I'm just going to give a little bit of a quick play in here into this video, just to introduce the product.
Introducing Studio NPVS Plus, built to maximize net present value and simplify the most complex mine scheduling challenges. With the market's most powerful mine planning solver and an intuitive interface, Studio NPVS Plus delivers practical, optimized schedules. Easily simulate multiple scenarios that account for geology, market changes, and real-world constraints, ensuring the best possible extraction strategy. Every feature is designed to empower your team and your bottom line. Contact us today.
Awesome. So just a bit of introduction there. Again, QR code is going to be available throughout the presentation for you to scan on your side if you need. So moving on here, let's just talk a little bit about the product history, right? It's not a new product, as I said. It's been on the industry since 1999, but technology is never ready. You're always evolving. So we started with NPV Scheduler 1, moved into 2 and 3. From 1999, we produced ledge Grossman optimization pets. We have our own in-house generation of pushbacks tool, as well as a scheduling tool at the time using dynamic programming, which was enough for the problems that we had to solve at the time. And we moved on into 2009 into NPVS 4, which is bring new visualization tools, geo risk assessment for bringing condition simulated models into perspective. We introduced new pushback generation algorithms, as well as we moved into pseudoflow for our nested shells and bit optimization, which was a novel thing in 2016 and became part of the industry stock standard for bit optimization. Then most recently, in 2020, we brought all the technology into our studio platform. Datamine is famous for its studio platforms, where we have a generic mining package hosting now the optimization engine and allowing us to do much more in terms of model manipulation and interacting with your data. We provide new reporting utility as well and sensitivity analysis as well to our customers. So we brought a range of new functionality and experience to our customers, bringing Studio NPVS. Now, 2020, we bring an extra stage, which is Studio NPVS Plus. We are redefining the way we do our optimization. So we are progressing with the technology, and what was good before is not good today. So we now decided to go into a new scheduling engine, and that's where NPVS Plus kicks in. So the benefits of Studio NPVS, you do everything in one single go. That's why from resource model all the way to life of mine, your geology model is transformed into an economic model. You produce nested pit shells, as you see on my diagram in here, all hosted on a generic mining package. And you have all your optimization done, superior visualization of what's going on your nested shells, as well as customizable reports and interactions with the data, showing you charting and a tabular format of what you're producing on your optimization tool, generating unique pushbacks from practical point of view as well. They allow you to start moving towards the next stage, which is production schedule. As I mentioned before, we introduced as well our sensitivity analysis tool. In this case here, I've created more than 20 different sensitivity analysis cases and produced a spider chart on a matter of minutes. Instead of creating one by one, a matrix helped me to produce all this, and I compile all of this thing all the way down into an easy to digest report like this. So all of this is embedded into the Studio NPVS family, right? And obviously the cherry on the cake is getting out of this your production schedule, which I'm animating in here, but this became more and more challenging as the industry evolves, and that's why we want to start producing not only schedules, but optimize it to the highest level. And that's why we're focusing now on changing our optimization engine and producing a single optimization run for your pit, your plant, your stockpiles, and your cut-off grade strategy as well. And all of this happens on an intuitive interface. So we are unbolting our old scheduling tool and bringing the new player in the market. And this new player is Maroma Technologies. They've been partnering with us now for the past few years. where we've been bolting this new technology into our system. So Maroma is a MIP solver based on the Bienstock and Zuckerberg algorithm. And it's extremely well suited for solving problems of large number of precedences and dependencies, right? Constraints, which are very characteristic to the industry where we are in. So Maroma will allow us to truly optimize schedules combining plant, stockpile, cut-off grid optimization in one single go. Something that we used to discretize before, we now can run everything together in one single go. Multiple parallel constraints are available. You're capable to deal with multiple length of periods as well. And for me, most important, intuitive user interface. Anybody that just jumps into it, the language and the jargon is mining, easy to go into it and set up your own scenarios and get going with the product. So who can use NPVS Plus or who can benefit from it? Well, if you're a senior mining engineer or a manager sitting on corporate, you're doing due diligence, desktop studies, M&A, PFSs, and feasibility studies, you're going to be probably using something like this. Mining engineers on site, you have your pushbacks well designed and defined, but you might want to test different trade-offs, different situations for different economical considerations. You can use NPVS Plus to do that. Even resource geos and practitioners on that area for RPEEE declarations, or if you're just trying to enhance your targeted drilling campaigns, understanding what is the best bang for your buck, you can use Student NPVS Plus to do quick optimization and produce scenarios to indicate to you where best to go. Consultants, well, they navigate and meander around this whole ecosystem here. So for them, all of the above will be beneficial as well. Well, the product's going to be available in Q4 2025, which is upon us. We now have finalized some beta testing, crossing some T's, dotting some I's, ready to go to market on the next few weeks. We are looking forward to getting early adopters. So if you are keen to partner with us and join the transformation early on, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. QR code is there. I'll be more than delighted to be part of your journey as well as you're part of ours. That's my 2 cents here, Clarissa. Looking forward to have some more conversation about it.
Thank you so much, Bruno. Really good to see all the advancements in the stockpile, risk, geology, and everything else that you can do with the Maroma technology. So that's really good. Thank you. Up next, we've got Sentient. So we will have a team presentation. So I'd like to welcome Sean, Craig, Leonie. Sentient and Chris. Sentient will be explore how innovative visual tools are reshaping the way the industry is both communicating and collaborating. In this session, they will highlight how the visual aspects can improve stakeholder engagement, accelerate shared understanding, reduce risk, and also enhance the training, planning, and decision-making process. They will also show how turning the data into a dynamic and interactive experience can lead to a safer, clear, and more enjoyable outcomes for the traditional methods that were usually used and everything else that we're able to do now. So over to you, Sentient. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Clarissa. My name's Leonie, and thank you to Osmine for having us today. Let's get our slides going. So the team and I are here to talk to you about the power of immersive and engaging visualization. Our organisation is called Sentient. We're a Western Australian-based visualization company. And this is our current team of around 32. As you can probably tell, we've just reached adulthood, celebrating our 18th birthday earlier this year. I'll just wait for the slides, they're a bit laggy. There you go. Okay, from health and training to resources and infrastructure, our visualizations bring complex environments to life, no matter the industry. As gamers at heart, we bring the knowledge that virtual worlds mean there are no limitations to what we can create. The skills and experience of our team mean we are the experts in visualizing data and telling stories with impact, building anything from games through to digital twins. And I'm first going to introduce you to our Mavi Solutions team. We create visualizations for stakeholder engagement, using virtual worlds to accelerate shared understanding and to support stakeholders to make more informed decisions. Yeah, there's no better adage to describe our business and also our team than a picture tells 1,000 words, particularly when it comes to stakeholder engagement. Simplifying complex data and technical knowledge and making it accessible to everyone makes for more meaningful engagement. So we take documents with flat imagery and 2D maps and create spatially accurate fly-throughs of proposed designs and closure plans to digitize the future so that it can be seen today. We take complex technical spreadsheets and interpret them into simulations for more effective internal communications that support strategic decision-making that benefits the whole team. And we transform heavily text-based external-facing documents into interactive first-person visual impact assessments, connecting the content to the community and increasing transparency and trust. So our visualizations can be used in any industry at any stage of the project lifecycle, and our team can help advise on the best technology and deployment method for your audience. Visualizations for any purpose can help to get everyone involved on the same page, fostering trust and alignment and building a strong foundation to work from. So I will now hand over to Craig, who will introduce our training XR team.
Thanks, Leonie. Yes, today I'll just be sharing a little bit about how we use 3D models as the foundation for training, and in particular how the same model can support different formats. That can be from individual learning to hands-on practical training, and then to collaborative team experiences. And ultimately, this flexibility means that we can match the right tool to the right learning outcome. So here we have an example for each of those platforms that I just mentioned. The focus here is on how a 3D model of an offshore platform can be used for 3 different methods of delivering immersive training. So on the left, we have CPT packages. In the middle, we have virtual reality practical training. And then on the right-hand side, we have a collaborative experience in a 360-degree cylinder that has full wall and floor projection. So at the CBT or e-learning level, the 3D model was used to create animations and interactive scenarios so that could explain how the platform was built. What this does is helps learners to understand complex processes step by step in a more effective way than just traditional text and images. And then the same has been used to create a VR training module. And what this is focusing on is the maintenance of a life capsule at the same platform. And so teams will only be visiting the platform a handful of times every year, and they may not have performed the maintenance for that capsule in a few months. And so the VR module was designed to give them the refresher training that they need at the time that they need it. And it allows learners to physically practice those tasks in a safe, simulated environment just before they step onto the real platform. And then finally, we've taken the same model into a 360-degree cylinder. In this case, it's an igloo, and it simulates various systems on the platform. So this setting enables whole teams to step inside, explore the environment together, rehearse critical responses, and those responses can include black start procedures of fire suppression events. So by using the same 3D model across CBT's VR group experiences, we're able to support training at multiple levels. It helps learners understand complex processes more quickly. It enables them to practice critical tasks without risk, and it allows them to develop alignment as a team. And ultimately, the outcome is the same. People learn faster, they retain more, and they're better prepared for the real world. And with that said, I'll hand over to Sean for the Digital Twins.
Thank you, Craig. So what I'd like to share with you today is a little bit more about our digital twin space. So an environment, I guess, where you can start to use your digital environments to make you more aware of your data, make your decisions safer and sooner. Now, most of you are aware of the evolution of digital twins since the early 2000s. Now, it has been rapid and it has been exponential. So it's been an exciting space to be part of. But in recent research by McKinsey, it sort of recognised that 90% of organisations, 90% of organisations recognise the value in digital twins, but very few actually implement them at scale. So the digital twins of today really need to keep pace with this evolution. They need to continue to consolidate the wins that they've got so far, and they need to continue pushing the boundaries. And so it's with that in mind that I wanted to share with you an example of our latest digital twin. It's called Stockyard Viz. So now this is not just a high fidelity replica of a stacker, reclaimer and stockyard. It's got all of the infrastructure involved in the stacking and reclaiming operations, but it's more than that. It's actually bound to your data. So it takes live streams from the historians or the IoT sensors on site, and it uses that to animate the digital twin live. So stacking rates, reclaiming rates, all of the composition of stockpiles is updated live and able to be visualized by any of the operators at any point in time. Now, what this does is it delivers to McKinsey, one of McKinsey's recommendations, which is that digital twins need to move from being more heuristic in their approach to being dynamic data-driven models. And so what we've got here in particular with Stockyard Viz is the ability to view the composition of your stockpile. And so when you can break down a stockpile that's been created and then reclaimed, it changes the way the operators view the information, and it changes the way they make those decisions. And so what this is actually doing, we believe, is it's moving data-driven insights into actual real-time situations for operators on a day-to-day basis, shift by shift. So it's moving digital twins into the space that we believe they need to be. The real strength, though, is that it's bound to your data. So it's real, it's ground truthed. And so it's with that, it's a lovely segue for me to pass on to Chris.
I'm going to talk a little bit about where Sentient started, which was the development, installation and support of the MacroView SCADA software. So confident control doesn't start with flashy tech or even flashy visuals. It starts with trust. At Sentient, we've spent over 18 years developing, installing and supporting a legacy SCADA and HMI platform, not just keeping it running, but building long-term relationships around it. In mines and manufacturing sites across the country, that system has quietly been powering operations with safety, stability, and most importantly, reliability. So supporting it has taught us more than just how to keep things online. It showed us how people actually use data to make decisions and what the systems need to do when the pressure is really on. And that's become the foundation of everything we do now. Whether it's building and supporting digital twins, stockyard visualizations, interactive training tools, or stakeholder engagement platforms, we're drawing on those years of experience and real-world knowledge. Things like reliability, intuitive design, and round-the-clock support, they're all baked into everything we do now. Because visualizations shouldn't just mean new and flashy, it has to mean better maintained, better aligned with operational needs, and at times better than being there. And that's all built on a foundation of trust that's proven itself over decades. So if you have anything you want to find out more, please get in touch. And yeah, back to you, Clarissa.
Thank you so much, Sentient. Really good to see how, spreadsheets can turn into beautiful visual aspects even from the site. So really good. Thank you. And thanks for the team presentation. That's the first one that I see on this side, but it worked out pretty well. So now let's move on to the next presenter. And I would like to introduce you to David Lowe, Chief Revenue Officer at Pointerra 3D. David will be exploring how digital mine planning is evolving to deliver real and measurable impact in both underground and open pit environments. David will also share the lessons from the field with companies who are already making their digital mining journeys. Those include the co-development of advanced analytic tools with a global tier 1 miner that is reshaping how spatial data is applied in daily mining operations. So welcome, David, and over to you.
Wonderful. Thanks, Clarissa. Just get that slide up. Yeah, so thanks. Yeah, today we're going to show how a digital mine plan supports day-to-day decisions. So think living digital twins that are always current, triggering checks and alerts so that teams can act faster, and more safely. So at Pointerra 3D, we build living digital twins of the mine. So we pull all types of geospatial data, we connect IoT devices, we bring in design, compliance, production, and safety data into one shared view. So instead of static reports, you get live feeds to the planning tools that you're already using, and we connect to platforms to provide a unified view of the asset. So central to what we do is our common data environment. Now, our common data environment centralizes and virtualizes every geospatial data source so that everyone's looking at the same operational reality. It's browser-based, it's version controlled, and it's auditable. So there's no more questioning which is the latest data. You've got a single view of it that you know is constantly updated, and more importantly, being visualized from the system of record. So as I was saying, if you think of Pointerra 3D as the single pane of glass that provides a consolidated view of the mining operation, where we take that geospatial fabric and then connect it to the relevant systems of record, maintenance, safety, operations, production, applications, and then facilitate collaboration to remove data silos, allowing to focus on operational decisions. So today, we're going to focus on the operational layer, and that's the bridge from strategy to on-shift action. So, what are the real day-to-day actions that make a difference when we talk about digital mine planning in the underground and the open pit context, and how that plan actually drives decisions on site, and how we get started with adoption. So the primary thing, that a digital mine plan theoretically delivers is faster insight. So, faster insight, the quicker you can capture, process, and have decision-ready information, then, you can drive higher conformance and compliance. You have less boots on ground, so you can improve your safety outcomes, and you've got a shared spatial truth across all your planning, survey, ESG, and other reporting functions. When we talk to our customers and prospects, we talk about Pointerra helping them make better utilization of existing investment in platforms. Some of the key pain points that we hear time and time again are, there's a lot of fragmented data and workflows out there. Siloed survey data, planning information, ESG reporting data sets, that deliver delays and errors in the planning process. There's inefficient analysis and reporting. There's a lot of manual desktop-tied workflows that end up in rework and plan and as-built misalignment. Processing bottlenecks, the sheer time it takes to process data before insight can be derived. And then obviously the hazard, geotech risk, ESG, rehabilitation, the reporting, the manual, audit-heavy compliant drains and resources. So when we talk about digital mine plan in the Pointerra context, we talk about workflow and impact. So if you think about the top end of the chain, it's data. It's survey data, it's geospatial data. That might be LiDAR, it might be SLAM, it might be aerial survey that is captured monthly for stockpile reconciliation, but often only gets used for that. And there's a whole heap of other applications that when put into a cloud-based common data environment, that data can be captured once for one specific purpose, but then used for multiple outcomes that delivers obviously multiples on ROI, but also efficiency that previously wasn't recognized. So we take the data, we push it into the cloud. That facilitates scalability and auditability, and also allows us to then run the analytics that triggers alerts, version control, and helps you manage that data in a systemized way. Through our APIs, we then connect into the other systems of record. So it's important that data lives in its source of truth, but is able to be surfaced through a single platform. So we ensure there's two-way connectivity there, though. So the data that is being updated and built in Pointerra is pushed to the appropriate system, and vice versa, where there's updates in Spigot outputs from a deposition plan, then that's reflected in the hazard digital twin so that you can start to monitor and model what that deposition plan is doing, how the sediment's settling, and are you on track or do you need to pivot in the plan? And then, you know, another important aspect is obviously that operational piece. So thresholds and triggers that push warnings to responsible individuals so they can act and remediate issues as quickly as possible. So when we start talking with operators about how do you get started, you know, what are you sort of, you know, what's the first steps in adopting digital mine plans? And the critical piece is to start with some high value use cases and then iterate in the real world and really ensure the connectivity with the existing systems. Our mantra internally is integrate, don't duplicate. So we're not out to build what others are doing. We want to make sure that you work in a cohesive ecosystem that provides best value for money. So when we talk about automation and we start talking about some of the tools that we've built with our partners, underground is a brilliant use case. You know, you capture one data, it's a confined environment. Often it's GPS denied, so you're doing SLAM LiDAR, you're doing you know, regular collects, and then that allows you to take a single data set and automate across a whole heap of different dimensions. So think about automated roadway conformance, think about shell classification, overbreak, underbreak volumes, comparison to design for headings and slopes, rock bolt detection for QA/QC of spacing against the design plan, and convergence tracking, so time series monitoring of how the mine's actually progressing. Similarly, in the open pit space, often we hear delays in survey data being available to make decisions on those comparisons design. Digital workflows close those gaps with standard views and threshold-based exceptions. So if you think about traditional pit design solutions and planning tools, they often lack a direct live connection to as-mined conditions. So being able to take that survey data, you can avoid costly rework and inefficiencies. Again, so here's a specific use case in action. You know, this is an open pit scenario. Ramp gradients and haul road design choices can, you know, significantly impact and increase truck maintenance if, you know, you're not following design. So we have solutions within Pointerra that takes the regular aerial surveys that are done for stockpile reconciliation, runs a 15-minute analytic over the top, and straight away you've got almost a traffic light solution that says, okay, here are the areas that are out of conformance with grade, berm height and width, turning radius, those types of key critical factors that can really not only impact regulatory reporting to make sure that you're compliant with your design plan, but equally importantly can reduce cost in the business by remediating those areas that may be increasing maintenance on the vehicles. So then when we start to talk about adoption, we basically sort of take a staircase plan, pilot, standardize, automate, and then scale. So what does that sort of mean in action? Well, pick a high value or one or two high value use cases, underground conformance, open pit compliance, take that workflow, get a couple of KPIs, you know, time to insight, you know, connectivity, and then do a quick sprint, test that process, co-develop the thresholds with the on-site teams, and then report and loop back. And once you identify those use cases, you can then build them out to scale across the site and then obviously across the enterprise. Thanks, Clarissa.
Thank you, David. Good. Zoe, she will be presenting today the delays and that costs time, money, and production in mining companies. So she will be talking about feasibility studies to shut down maintenance. Teams are juggling to do complex drawings involving designs and strict compliance documentation, often across multiple sites, time zones, and systems. So advanced spatial technologies will be showcasing the Bluebeam in action for mining projects, how to rapidly compare drawing revisions, capture field markups, and collaborate with contractors. So over to you, Zoe.
Thank you, Clarissa. And thank you, everyone. Congratulations to the previous presenters. Amazing stuff. I am a little bit of a nerd, so I get very excited by these things. So today we're with Advanced Spatial Technologies and a little bit about us. So AST, as we're also known, was established in 1995. We've been partners with places like Bluebeam, Autodesk, etc., for a very, very long time, since around 2003. We also do hardware as well as drafting services, but we also focus a lot on training, implementation, and customization of products like Bluebeam Review. So my focus today is going to be on Bluebeam. It's one of my core passions. I've been working with it for a very long time, and we're going to focus on mining. And I'll run through super quickly because I could bang on about this all day, given half a chance. So we're going to step through a couple of different workflows. So first of all, we're going to look at Bluebeam Review for taking fast and accurate measurements on PDF documents. So Review was established, I think it was 2002. It was the first plugin for AutoCAD, and it really is designed for technical users. So I'll click on forward and explain what I'm doing in this next video. So this document that I've got is a mine site. It's been calibrated, so we know that the scale is correct. I've got a couple of measurements there. I've also created a custom tool set that suits this mine site so that I'm marking up relevant information, not just plain area measurements. You can see I'm dropping a legend on here. This will dynamically update. Next, I'm using one of my favorite tools, Dynamic Fill, where basically Bluebeam does all of the heavy lifting for me. All I'm doing here is holding down my left mouse key, and you can see those areas are being filled in automatically and accurately. I really do enjoy not doing work, so Dynamic Fill is one of my favorite tools. From here, because we've customized this tool set, I can automatically select, okay, I want those area measurements to be tenements, for example, and I want to record my fencing as well. All I need to do is hit apply to add those multiple measurements at the same time. I also want to do a couple of cutouts for my tailings. So I've cut those areas out, and all I need to do is click to add that, and it's all updated in your legend. So what we've looked at there is measuring areas super quickly, using dynamic fill and automations within Review to really speed up that process. Everything's logged and consistent because we've got that consistent tool set, and everything's auto-reported. So you saw the legend, but we'll get into reporting a little bit more. The other thing I'm particularly passionate about is that customization. So everyone knows the color code pink is a tenement, for example. So next, there we go. I want to take it to the actual site. So applying to a real site area. In this one, we'll be defining some laydown areas, marking up, but also commenting back and forward. So Bluebeam has a very, very strong collaboration side to it, particularly using Bluebeam Studio sessions. So I'll click through. So this is a site somewhere in Queensland that I have actually been to. They need to increase their laydown areas because they're about to get 50 odd containers per week. So they need an area to lay those down and also stage the de-stuffing of those containers. So I've popped that markup up there to explain this is where we're going to pop that new laydown area. And I also want to, is my video not playing? There we go. Add measurements in here. So I've got my laydown areas and I'm tracking all of that information at the same time. I've also got a section here that's at a different scale, and this is where I'm going to put hard standing for heavy vehicles. So I've put that car park in there. I can move the measurement out of the way. So Bluebeam's really, really flexible in this case. Now I'm going to grab some auto scaling tools. So these dumpsters, for example, I want to know how many I can fit along this yard. So I can just multiply that really easily, and everything is recorded automatically for me. I'm also going to grab a couple of water tankers to just pull these across into this area. So it makes it very, very easy to see if certain bits of equipment are actually going to fit in the area that you need them to go in. And I've also dropped a 40-foot container in there as well. But whilst I'm working on this, my colleague has also been updating. So they've left a comment over in the left-hand side. They're waiting for estimator to update them. And we've also got another comment that containers are actually blocking the areas. So I'll move ahead. And I'm hoping everything's flowing for you guys because it's a little bit laggy on my side. So what we're looking at here is, number one, we've got one workflow. Everything's color-coded. Everyone has the same tools. And you can see exactly who needs what and actually reply to that information in real time. The same information is accessible to the site as it is in the office. So you've got aligned planning decisions in this case. Next, we're going to look at document review. So I'm sure everyone here is familiar with changes or also looking at clashes. So drawings do change all the time. It can be quite hard to see those changes. Bluebeam makes it really, really easy to see any clashes or changes in an instant. So you can do side-by-side comparison with Bluebeam Review. In this case, I'm going to take 3 different documents of 3 different disciplines and overlay them. So I want to be able to see if there's going to be any clashes between those different disciplines. So I'm just adding all of my open documents in this case. And you can see they're not very well aligned in this case. So Bluebeam has AI built in, so it'll auto align that for me. And I can simply hit OK. Bluebeam's now created a new document, so your source documents do not change. And what it's doing for me right now, it'll take each of those disciplines and combine them in one PDF. So I can zoom in right here and see my different disciplines. I've got architectural, structural, electrical, each of them on a different layer. So I can flick through and see really easily those different drawings. I can also mark up and report on any clashes I might have detected during here or any questions that I might have. So with document review, come on, are we gonna? There we go. We've got everything's color coded for us. So particularly with the overlays, Bluebeam does that automatically. But when you customize your tool sets, you know exactly what you're looking at. It means you don't miss any updates or any changes. And this helps with faster approvals and less rework. I'll click next. There we go. So we've got all this amazing data sitting on our PDFs. We really do need to report on it. Every team here has spoken, it's data, data, data. But what you want is that data in a visual element so that you can actually use it. So what I'm doing here and with review, we've got APIs that will feed into different tools as well. I've kept it pretty simple in this case. So we've got a CSV output, great for estimation. So we've got a nice spreadsheet. We've also got a PDF output, which is what I'll show off today. You can control exactly what information goes into your report. And I'm just generating that report right now. So I've chosen to append this to the current document. So if I come up to my thumbnails, you can see it's popped all of that information at the bottom. You know exactly who said what, when, and why. And those little snapshots are hyperlinked directly back to the plan. So every action in review is tracked. So the author is tracked, time and date is tracked, what was changed was tracked. So you know exactly what's going on. And you can instantly export those reports to CSV, PDF, which is essential for compliance and reporting. So there we go. That was Bluebeam as quickly as I could possibly do it for you. We've gone through basically looking at exactly what Bluebeam Review can do. We've got your fast, accurate measurements that most people know about. We've got seamless collaboration with Bluebeam Studio. We've got audit-ready records, hopefully causing less delay, less risk. AST have been working with Bluebeam for a very long time. So if you'd like your own customized workflow session for mining, feel free to reach out to us. And I'll hand back to you, Clarissa. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Good to see all the capabilities and data sets and drawings that you can work on.